Carbon footprint. It's in the news, it's in government regulations, it's in executive orders and annual reports, and it's on someone's task list to report on the organization's carbon footprint and recommend strategies to affect its reduction. Greenwashing isn't enough. Stakeholders demand to see plans of action to ensure improvement and measurable progress over time. Where does one begin to address this? Globally, energy production in all forms contributes the vast bulk of carbon equivalent emissions. Any reductions in energy consumption and increases in efficiency will yield improvements in environmental impact, not to mention cost savings. But how much for our organization? And how does that align with business strategy versus other contributing factors? Do certain activities or locations offer more strategic opportunities for improvement than others? The combined impact of buildings' ongoing use and occupancy constitute as much as 1/3 of the total world greenhouse gas equivalent. So facilities management will play a key role in improving carbon footprint. And to maximize benefit, organizations need a strategic plan that considers their entire facility portfolios as well as the activities associated with them. Business leaders responsible for defining strategies to reduce carbon footprint face a number of challenging questions. They may first want to establish an accurate baseline for the organization and assess the contributing sources to determine where to focus efforts. Then they might evaluate the cost versus benefit of multiple scenarios before implementing a program. Continued monitoring over time can reveal the effectiveness of measures in place and help identify opportunities for further improvement. For organizations that wish to reduce their carbon footprint, the ARCHIBUS Green Building application provides a web-based, intuitive interface to specify protocols, calculate net greenhouse gas equivalent impact for buildings, and report on carbon footprint change over time for their facility portfolio. Let's say your company has a sustainability goal to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by some percentage. This is a very common objective for corporate sustainability web pages and CSR reports. These emission calculations are complex and based on more than a dozen factors. Without the budget to employ an environmental engineer, you may want a tool that hides the complexity from the day-to-day tasks, but can be made visible when more in-depth information is needed, possibly for an audit or for supporting evidence in a certification application. ARCHIBUS Green Building supports these needs and more. With data entered or imported for multiple years, the Green Building application tracks trends over time for the overall footprint as well as for each of the contributing sources, scaling from one building to an entire portfolio. The application even provides transparency into the methodologies used, as well as the ability to modify or expand on any of the background emissions factors provided with the application, all via web-based interfaces. With a goal of reducing the footprint, a facility manager or sustainability coordinator intuitively knows that implementing energy conservation activities will help. By seeing how individual buildings are performing, your organization has better insight into where problems exist and therefore where to focus resources. This kind of information gives clues to what processes need to be addressed. If we know that transportation emissions from Scope 3 are boosting the total, we can devise a plan to reduce those emissions. Once a manager identifies an objective, the Green Building application's ability to create scenarios provides the project with assessments of the effectiveness of planned activities. These scenarios allow us to evaluate how the carbon footprint would be affected by changing contributing sources such as fuel, electric consumption, or vehicle usage. For example, for a building that showed transportation as a significant contributor, we can evaluate if switching from medium gasoline automobiles to small ones would have the desired impact on the bottom line. When evaluating performance across several sites, the size, occupancy, and use of the building significantly affect the expected carbon output. Because other integrated ARCHIBUS applications track area, use, and current occupancy metrics, Green Building can draw on that data and enable you to normalize carbon totals for meaningful comparisons. ARCHIBUS Green Building does the computational heavy lifting to compute your carbon footprint and produces summary and detailed reports to support corporate image and compliance reporting needs. It tracks changes over time, streamlines the comparison of greenhouse gas emissions for all buildings in a portfolio, and has tools for evaluating how changes to operations will affect the carbon footprint, supporting strategic decisions by sustainability leaders. The ARCHIBUS Green Building application is one among a suite of related risk and environmental products that integrate with the whole ARCHIBUS solution set. For more information, please visit archibus.com.